present here in Epping, New Hampshire, home of three of New Hampshire's governors, of which I can name one fellow by the name of Prescott. Politicking with Mr. B. It has been a while. I know, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for waiting. We have had some things where people have been ill and so forth, and I myself was a little bit under the weather, but here we are back again, live with you. And guess what? Now, I'm sure when the engineering is the time to do it, we're going to get a telephone number up. We have live call in, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can call in and participate and be part of our podcast. There it is now. In the meantime, we've got so many things to go on. I don't want to keep talking and talking. Mr. Blazeman, run up the colors, please. We got a show to get to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And when I say justice for all, I say justice for all peoples who are here, as long as they come here and they ascribe to what America is and stands for, and don't do things that are against our laws, and as long as they come here according to our laws. Because in my particular opinion, if you come here and you are not here legally, you're breaking the law, you don't belong. We'll get to that in a little while. But in the meantime, we've got an update of a situation that's been going on. I've been hearing about this for a while, and finally it has come to pass. Ladies and gentlemen, well, New Hampshire, I'm sorry, not New Hampshire, but New Jersey. Oh, God, New Hampshire. Governor Chris Christie, New Jersey's own bloated, bridge-closing beachgoer, today decided his truth regarding President Donald J. Trump wasn't true blue enough to rocket him into the serious consideration for the presidency. So he finally decided to call it quits. Amen, amen, amen. Smooth move there, X-Lax. It only took you all this time in your miserable political career to realize that the only votes you'll get is if you run for loser of the week. Go on back to Jersey somewhere. Somewhere there's a deck chair with a nice print of your fat ass and your name on it. So long, Chris Christie. I can't say it's been so nice to know you. That having been said, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very good show ahead of you tonight, and it is so good that there are so many good things that we need to discuss, so many world events. I'm bringing in a very, very nice fellow, a very intelligent man. Renee, I want to bring you on over here. We've got a lot of things to discuss. This gentleman is very well versed in matters of protection, situational awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, Blazeman, can you bring in our special guest this evening, Renee?
Pleasure to be with you, Mr. B. Thank you,
I am so
man.
glad to have you. Thank you so much for coming in, sir. I know you yourself have been a bit under the weather. Congratulations on the recovery. I certainly hope this isn't going to put you a little bit under the weather again or tire you out.
No,
I know you're here
not at all.
I genuinely appreciate it. Well, there's a number of things that I want to get into to discuss. And I'm going to step back to things that maybe we should have discussed in the last week, but unfortunately things fell apart on us. 4 years ago, terrorist mastermind Qasim Soleimani, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps leader, I guess, was downed by President Trump, orders of President Trump back on the 3rd of January in 2020. They were having some celebrations marking, I guess, this going on, and a terrorist attack takes place in, of all places, Iran. This is the first such thing known to have happened to the outside world to take place there since 1979, when they had the revolution that overthrew Shah Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. Reportedly, they say 100 people plus or minus were dead, and they claimed that 200 were injured. Now, I take all of those numbers with a grain of salt because, well, you know how things coming out of that area is. It stated that 2 bombs were detonated nearly simultaneously. First thing I've got to ask you about, and you are again a very well versed person about protections and so forth and about world events. Is this a sign that Iran's regime is nearing a bloody revolution style ending?
That, and based on what I saw the other day, those 2 bombs, ISIS is actually taking credit for that.
I know.
So, talk around, still having links with the intel community and stuff. The chatter going around is, most Muslims have had it with Iran and the mullahs and everything else. So I'd say it's only a matter of time. I think that's why you're seeing the hastily, they're really ratcheting up, refining uranium, trying to make the bomb. And they've gone into warp speed to do it. So,
well,
that's one of the indicators.
Yeah, word out in the world is that they have enough to make 4. Now, I don't know that that's correct or not. I really don't know, and you don't know what to trust.
You don't. Those numbers could be accurate. They could be wrong. I mean, they could have probably don't have enough to make any. You just don't know. That's why it's a game. It's a game of chess.
Yeah. Our next question for you, and again, now you've got your ear solidly planted to the ground on this. Do we know who is responsible? Now, ISIS has claimed responsibility for this. Do we know that to be true? I don't trust them.
If ISIS is claiming responsibility for something like that, not that I trust ISIS, but I'd say it's 50%.
Okay. All right. Now, is the murder of a New Jersey imam that happened connected to this event somehow?
That's a good question. I read about that. I saw that online.
There wasn't too much discussion about it.
There wasn't too much discussion about it. I say it's a good question. I'd venture to say no, because I don't think that that imam was actually, I think he was just a Muslim. I don't think he had anything to do with being Iranian or Ottoman or anything like that.
Is there any particular reason you can think of that why someone from out that section of the world would want this man dead?
Other than to start a conflict, no. Tonight I received some intel that the U.S. intelligence committee, U.S. intelligence community's in a panic because Hezbollah is allegedly planning attacks in the U.S. So there are a whole bunch of variables we're going to have to start getting used to. We're going to have to start ciphering, filtering out, and making sure what we put out there is accurate, because people are going to be dependent upon it.
Yeah, that actually opened up my question number 4, which was, what can/should we in America expect? Should we consider a retaliatory terror strike imminent? And apparently, you're telling us yes.
That's what the U.S. intel community said tonight.
Yeah, I fully expected to be hearing that. Now, that's going to bring us into the updated things. But I've got one last thing here, and I'm going to ask, what should American forces do about Iran's Navy moving into the Mediterranean Sea?
Well, if they're in international waters, I guess there's not much that can be done. But other than keeping an eye on them. But if they act in an aggressive manner, then, the rules of engagement need to apply. Unfortunately, right now, according to what I've been hearing today, we haven't got a Secretary of Defense. He's incommunicado, MIA. I guess there's no leader at the helm. But you got to remember, in situations like that, rules of engagement always apply. So all actions have to be proper.
Okay. I'm going to throw one last thing out at you. Assuming something does happen with Iran and their current regime gets toppled, what's the likelihood that places like the Saudis, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates would reach out to help Iran form a new friendly government. Can we rely on them?
I'm not sure I trust Saudi. Qatar, maybe, but I think the Iranians want to get back to life the way it was pre 1979. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like the Afghans did before the Taliban came in. You know, life was good. You know, and unfortunately, I think that's where we're headed. But that's a story for another day.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna kind of float off over here to another subject, something that's more current. Excuse me, the Hunter Biden. Excuse me, did I say that? Hunter Biden situation, where for some odd reason or another, even though people keep telling him, Hunter, shut up, get out of the limelight, he keeps sticking his nose exactly where it is. Waisman, we got a video here of the Hunter Biden incident today. Can you bring that up? Thank you very much. Let's see what's going on here.
Sir, are you worried about being held in contempt?
Yep. Are we having some difficulty here with the?
Sir, are you worried about being held in contempt? If you guys can see this right now, we are with Hunter Biden.
Use us, guys. Come on. Make a hole. A hole. Everybody, make a hole. Stand left to right. We'll start pushing people out the way. That doesn't help.
Out the way. Sorry, it's a little crowded right here, guys. Hunter Biden is not talking, but he is walking in right now to the hearing. Sir?
Now, Hunter Biden, in his infinite wisdom, has gone ahead and done this yet again. He walks into a hearing where they're considering whether or not to take and hold him in contempt, because rather than going in and beating with the people behind closed doors, he decided to hold his own press conference and thumb his nose at Congress. And now here he is sitting here doing this, and what in the hell could we? Which end is up with this whack job?
So supposedly, according to the information, obviously today was all planned out with members of Congress, and I was told that the president knew about it ahead of time. They're making a documentary. That guy that crumball that was sitting to his right, the unshaven guy with the long hair.
That's his brother, isn't it?
No, it's a guy named Morris. He's a Hollywood attorney. Supposedly, they're making a documentary. And this was part of the deal. Members of Congress were in on this whole thing today. Now, I was born tonight, but I wasn't born last night. You know as well as I do, depending on the outcome of 2024, there's no way that Joe is not going to pardon Hunter. So this is all a big show. This is what I consider Trump payback.
How do you mean?
Well, they're playing with us. They're toying with us. They don't want, people we're clamoring for information on this whole thing, and they know it. And they're not going to give it to us.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put this out to you. I certainly hope there's someone out there who has a mind to do so. Pick up the phone, 508-974-4231. We'd love to hear what you have to say. If you got a question about this, or if you have an opinion about what's going on, call us in. We'd love to take you in live on the show. That having been said, okay, we're going to step back now, back to the Middle East again. The Houthi missile issues. Apparently, the United States and I believe it was the Brits spent some time and more of our money firing things to take and protect and defend from inbound Houthi missiles that are going on.
Yeah.
What in the hell is going on? Why are we pussyfooting around with this?
they're taking down. They're actually taking it. The Houthis are. Well, you know as well as I do. The Houthis are Iranian proxies. They're taking their cue from the Iranians. The Iranians are supplying them, and so they're taking them out as they're being fired. And I guess they've sunk a few of the Houthi vessels too.
Well, hooray for all of that, but we've got the Houthis that are doing this, and they're not only doing that to the Israelis, they're doing this now to Americans, and what they're doing with the shipping. Is this a coordinated way of trying to cause a larger world incident that would
because go to grocery store, go to Market Basket, see what your grocery bill is when you walk out the door.
I don't have to see. I know.
So now, because they got to alter the shipping routes and go all the way around, that's going to cause a delay in products being received. That's also going to increase the cost of the product that you buy. So, they're wreaking havoc throughout the world. Absolutely.
And there's another thing. It's also increasing the demand for oil.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's if anything, it's going to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. Things drying, the more that they do this. These people are Iranian proxies. We've got Iran. We've got other things that are going on. We've got the Hezbollah, or the Hamas, all of these things. Are these people all working in conjunction to try and bring the West back into the war, or what?
I think they're trying. I think they want to. No, I don't think they want to bring the West back into the war. I think they want to control the West. That's been their quest all along. They don't like our way of life. When, having spent time over there, when somebody from that area of the world looks at the West and the U.S., all they see is money, greed, pornography. You know, that's their idea of what the West is, and that's not their LGBTQ, and that's not their way of life. And whatever's not their way of life is standing in their way, and they're going to do what they do. They're going to do what they got to do to remove it, step on it, crush it, whatever.
Now, from the growing up, and the people that I knew before the times of what happened with Iran and so forth, I grew up with people that were neighbors of mine, and I went to school with people that weren't neighbors, but they were in my school system, in my school district, that were people that were from the Middle East, and they were of Muslim faith. And from everything that I see, what we're dealing with here, we're not dealing with people that are of the Muslim faith, but a profoundly perverted version of that.
You're dealing with radicals today.
Yes.
We didn't have radicals back then. We went out and played with our friends, and when the street lights came on, we went home. You're dealing with an entirely different group of people today. Today, we're dealing with radicals.
I'm going to ask you, now we're seeing this with Israel, and they are having profound success. But I still, in order to deal with these people in the manner with which do we need to take our gloves off?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
These people they do not at all seem to be akin to following things having to do with Geneva Conventions or Marquis of Queensberry rules or whatever else. They're in the purest sense terrorists and will do anything.
They don't understand the word diplomacy.
No.
This is the only thing that they understand.
And that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
We've got a video that I just want the people to see. The people that may be out there that don't know what we're talking about, what's happening. Facebook, we have a video of the Houthi missiles and so forth, and the attacks that were being thwarted, thankfully, by our ships.
The US Navy has shot down 24 missiles and drones launched by the Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. American officials have described it as one of the biggest attacks since the Iran-backed rebel group ramped up its aggression in the region last October. No ships are believed to have been damaged in the round of missile and drone launches. The Houthi group is believed to be targeting Israeli-linked commercial vessels as the conflict in Gaza escalates.
That's pretty much plainly it. How much more of this do you think? Because now they're going to be rerouting shipping. Where are they going to turn their attention to next?
The Houthis? Well,
yeah.
Like I said, U.S. intelligence tonight is freaking out. They said Hezbollah is planning attacks here in U.S. soil.
Can we expect that they're actually going to be as brazen as to launch frontal attacks on U.S. Navy ships?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They've done it before.
Why won't this administration find that and declare it as an act of war?
We haven't got an administration. And I'm going to take it a step further. And
Go ahead, please.
Call me a nut. You can call me what you want. But the reason I don't think they're making a big deal about, or Biden isn't anyway, about Austin being MIA and not being accountable is there's a shadow government set up ready to take over. They're supposedly housed in some mountain villa underground in the mountains of Colorado. I seriously think that the shadow government's ready to take over. Biden ain't going to do anything. He's enough. We haven't got an administration. We haven't even got a president.
Wow.
Oh, hell. Remember the video of him getting off the helicopter and walking towards the White House? And
Which one?
He walked right past the door, and the Secret Service agent gets on the thing. He goes, he just walked into the bushes. I mean, he's not all there.
We know it. Okay, we have another video coming up. Well, I guess what we're seeing here is a video that was put out, I believe, by the Houthis. It was a propaganda sort of video, if I'm not mistaken, about them making their attacks and what their beliefs are, the reasons why they're doing things, and so forth. And it just it makes no sense to me why they would be doing this, because we're just, we're crazy, but we're not stupid. Renee, do you have any comment about this?
No, propaganda. They're trying to entice the United States Navy, but the United States Navy is a formidable opponent that the Houthis can't touch.
Right. Now, this being seen, this is going to lead into the next questions that I have. A discussion I wanted to talk about. We're going to be coming back up. We're going to take a break in about a minute or so. We're going to come back, and we're going to be talking about these protesters here in the United States that are going ahead and blocking up traffic and shutting down cities. In the meantime, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back in about 3 minutes and 5 seconds or something like that, and we'll see you folks soon. I certainly hope we'll see it. We'll be right back.
No matter what you are, I will always be with you. Doesn't matter what you do, girl. Ooh, girl, want you. No matter where you go, I will always be around. Won't you tell me what you found, girl? Ooh, girl, want you.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Renee. Thank you very much. I hope you had an enjoyable 3 minutes listening to that music. We have now a video I'm going to bring up over here. Renee, before I get into the video, I want to get your first reaction about this. Seeing what's happened in the major cities, having these people that are having these quote-unquote peaceful protest marches that are causing gridlock, locking down and shutting down things in cities across the United States in favor supposedly in favor or supporting the Palestinian people and their plight and so forth. Are we seeing things that are basically sucking people into setting us up for a mass, and I mean a mass terrorist incident which could kill thousands?
Oh, absolutely. But it's not just with the Palestinians. It's been going on since George Floyd. People have a right to peacefully assemble and redress their grievances to the government. However, that doesn't give them the right to block highways and stop traffic. And that's what they're doing.
And in that instance, when you're doing things like this, and of course it's costing money, it's taxing and overtaxing our emergency services, it's holding up things for emergency services, people who can't get through in case they need a fire, an ambulance, police,
ambulances have been stuck in these things. People have died.
I think it's time that somebody in their right mind comes out and calls this what this is. This in and of itself is a prelude or an act of terrorism.
But until your government decides to do something about it, my hands are tied.
And again, they're pussyfooting. Why? Because, oh, well, it's Palestinians. We got the video. Blazeman, could you bring that video up and show her what we're talking about?
Major disruptions to city traffic as pro-Palestinian demonstrators block the Holland Tunnel, Brooklyn Bridge, and the Manhattan Bridge this morning. CBS News' Jessica Moore is live at the Manhattan Bridge with the latest there. And Jessica, the bridge is now clear?
Mary, it is. Police tell me, in fact, all locations around the city are now clear, but this was a massive demonstration. Hundreds of people blocking traffic in and out of Manhattan. Here at the Manhattan Bridge, we saw people chaining ramming devices to their arms that had to be cut off with buzz saws as they were arrested. And one of the women here tells me that's to make sure that they blocked as much traffic as possible. It all started around 10 o'clock this morning, a coordinated protest blocking bridges and tunnels. Video shows demonstrators sitting at the entrance to the Brooklyn Bridge. It was the same scene at the Holland Tunnel where Port Authority police arrested dozens who blocked the tunnel's entrance. We saw dozens more arrests here at the Manhattan Bridge. NYPD officers mobilized to the bases of the bridges, dispatching officers from headquarters to all three locations. Police say things were mostly peaceful, but they caused major disruptions to drivers.
Well, I think as the violence escalates, we have to make our message known, and it's not coming from the top, so the people are sending the message. After all, it is our tax dollars.
To an Israeli who's essentially fighting for justice for all people, correct?
Yes, I'm an anti-Zionist Jew, and I know from my history of being Jewish and the history of the Holocaust that we will not allow this to happen again. When we say never again, we mean never again for everyone.
Of course, yesterday marks 3 months since Hamas attacked Israel and then Israel invaded Gaza in response. People here say they plan to escalate the demonstrations until there is a complete ceasefire. We did meet one man out here, a single man holding an Israeli flag. He said he was on his way to work, couldn't get across the Manhattan Bridge. He's been to several of these demonstrations, pulled the flag out of his trunk and stood out here. He tells me that the protesters or demonstrators are just uninformed. We're live in Lower Manhattan. Jessica Moore, CBS 2 News.
What we're seeing here is a prelude, a dry run, if you will. These people know that they can effectively shut down a city and line all of these people up. They've got nowhere to go. It's the old adage of shooting fish in a barrel, sitting ducks. Not just thousands, tens of thousands of people could wind up victims in coordinated bombing attacks with cars and trucks that are loaded with fertilizer bombs or improvised explosive devices or God knows whatever else. people
Yep.
throwing bricks out of buildings.
I agree. You don't
Please.
need a permit to march on the streets or on the sidewalk, believe it or not. As long as the marches don't obstruct car or pedestrian traffic. If you don't have a permit, police officers can ask you to move to the side to allow people and traffic to pass. Now, that being said, the anti-war protests of the 60s and beyond, courts ruled that just because authorities have an unspecified concern about the potential disorder because demonstrators allowed offensive, or even if they temporarily block traffic, not a reason to move them. So unless your government decides to smarten up and do something. Well, in that news video, they said they started cutting the things off people and arresting them. But it has to be the government that takes the action.
Okay. From a situational awareness aspect of things, you're in your car, your whatever else, and suddenly you're met by this line that's taking and blocking you and holding you up, and you know that something can happen there. Would you take and just plow through the damn line and that's the end of it and get out? What would you do with this?
Well, that situational awareness. First, I wouldn't go anywhere near the place to begin with. But that being said, if you just plow through and you hit somebody, you injure them, you kill them, you're running the risk of going to jail yourself. I've seen it on several occasions. I mean, you could always argue that you're inferior safety. My best advice to people is these events are well publicized. They want the attention. Avoid it if you can avoid it. There's going to be situations you're not going to be able to avoid it.
It could happen. You could be traveling down the street, next thing you know, they're having one of these things, and you had no idea, and they just go ahead and sprung it on you, whatever. Yeah. There you are.
Yeah. I remember a video during the George Floyd protest. Bunch of protesters started up on the highway. Some truck driver was just driving along, didn't even realize they were up there. He hit and killed one of them. They arrested him.
And I remember all the way back. Remember the Rodney King?
Rodney King. There you
incident?
go.
When they had all of the I don't know, the burning and the rioting and the looting and this and whatever else.
They were yanking people out of their cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In that situation, I'm sorry. You know what? I think I'll risk a jury of 6 or 12.
Yeah.
Versus having something like that. If someone's going to try and yank me out of my vehicle or do something, or taking a brick and try to smash my glass and get to me, I mean, what more do you need to leave?
That's why I always have a 40 cal with me.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. But I mean, just get away from it. Get out of it.
Get out of it.
So
yeah.
forth. Now, in your business that you deal with, do you have a means of educating, teaching people, holding symposiums and so forth, teaching people how to get out of these situations and whatnot?
We do what we call EVOC classes, emergency vehicle operations, just like the Secret Service. How to get out of a jam once you're in one.
Please go ahead, elaborate a little, ple's.
Well, you're driving up and all of a sudden the road gets blocked and stuff like that. You know, how to get out of it. Put it in reverse, back up. You do like a spinning turn and you get the hell out of there. There are a number of things, too numerous to mention. I'd have to demonstrate them for you.
I would imagine that there has to be more than just a modicum of ability to have some critical thinking going on. And unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of that being tested or being taught or exercised in schools today with our youth.
Well, that's why Lee, Chet, and I formed this company, to try to make you situationally aware and to teach you, put that in your mind.
Right.
How and when it's time to act.
There's another great way to learn that. It's called join the damn military. Give some service and learn there as well, of course.
Yeah.
But for general citizens and so forth, it doesn't have to be only corporate executives. It could be anyone who has a husband, a wife, mother, father, whatever else that has children they want to live and protect, or if they're just considering the protection of their own lives. This would be something to look to.
I'm willing to put on classes at the local library down the street next to town hall, but trying to get people to sign up and come for them, even though you tell them it's for nothing.
If you get the word out, that's the thing, get the word out and spark the interest. What is it going to take? Is it going to take some kind of a terror attack to get these people to get off their butt and realize that this is something that's necessary?
No, because 9/11 didn't do much.
For a while it did.
For a while it did, but then everybody went back to, soccer moms and Starbucks and everything else.
I consider things going on, especially human nature here, or first world country nature. When's the last time you saw something about the war that's going on over in with the Russians and the Ukrainians?
I haven't seen anything about that since October 7th or before.
Have you seen anything recently about what's going on, any of the fighting going on over in Israel?
That's kind of died out too.
Right. People apparently they become callous. They've had enough of it. Don't want to see it anymore.
They become saturated.
And this, unfortunately, apparently, is what I think is happening when people need to learn these things, but they don't want to know about it. Why? It's out of sight, out of mind. I'm done with it for now. Put this toy on the shelf and go out and find some other glitzy thing to follow around.
Yeah, well, we got 2024 coming up, so.
Yeah, and there's an awful lot going on with that. Now, we've got another video that's come up. I believe Mr. Blazeman, our wonderful engineer, has found something more about the Hunter Biden. Mr. Blazeman, do you have that available for us? Please.
He complied with the subpoena.
We would have
expired.
We would have loved that.
Do any other members wish to be heard? Chair recognizes Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Comer. First of all, my first question.
I'm sorry. I just want to say that I love her. So listen very good to what she says. So sorry, but I had to let you guys.
Is this the Democrat lady from?
Yes.
Yeah,
No, this ain't the Democrat lady. No.
Okay. Well, please go ahead.
This is Nancy Mace.
Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
Comer. First of all, my first question is who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here and...
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
if
the ladies recognize.
If the gentle lady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman. Let's take a vote and hear from Hunter Biden. What are you afraid of?
Hold on. Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Could you keep interrupting me?
I'll interrupt the chairman. I don't know that he's a lady.
I think that that Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail. Our nation is founded on the rule of law.
Come on.
And the premise that the law applies equally to everyone, no matter what your last
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Biggs over here.
Donald Trump Jr.
Biggs over here.
State your point, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, my point of order is this. Are we going to continue on with this blatant interruption? This is absurd and inappropriate. I intend to give my statement. I don't intend to have anybody interrupted. I'm not going to interrupt your statements. I think you should have decorum and courtesy and don't act like a bunch of nimrods.
You just interrupted a woman.
And that's 5,
I got permission.
Can we agree everyone has
Mr.
5
Chairman,
minutes? Can we agree?
Point of order again. The assertion that I interrupted was absolutely false. That's typical of the gentleman who spoke it. I got permission to speak from the chairman. I spoke. I was interrupted yet again by the gentleman who doesn't choose to go through the chair and follow proper order. I encourage us, I think if we're going to have any respect at all, we need to have proper decorum.
Well, well said, well said.
I'd like to finish.
The rules are everyone's going to be recognized for 5 minutes. Anyone that wants to be recognized will be recognized for 5 minutes. Ms. Mace has 4 minutes and 13 seconds left. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace.
It does not matter who you are, where you come from, or who your father is, or your last name. Yes, I'm looking at you, Hunter Biden, as I'm speaking to you. You are not above the law at all. The facts in this case are crystal clear. This committee used and issued a lawful subpoena to Hunter Biden, a critical witness in this committee's investigation into Biden family corruption. Hunter Biden and his lawyers did not claim privilege of any kind.
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing?
Because clearly he has none. They didn't contest the legitimacy of our reasons for issuing this subpoena. No reasons, because they clearly are legitimate. And yet he refused to comply. Trump's family members, Don Trump Jr., he did not defy a congressional subpoena. He showed up multiple times for multiple depositions for several hours. In doing so, Hunter Biden broke the law. He did so deliberately. You did so flagrantly. You showed up on the Hill, on the Senate side, the day of that congressional subpoena to defy it and spit in the face of this committee. That's what you did. The question the American people are asking us is, what is Hunter Biden so afraid of? Why can't you show up for a congressional deposition? You're here for a political stunt. This is just a PR stunt to you. This is just a game that you are playing with the American people. You're playing with the truth. Hunter Biden wasn't afraid to sell access to Joe Biden to the highest bidder when he was in elected office. He wasn't afraid to trade on the Biden brand, peddle influence, and share those ill-gotten gains with members of his family, including Joe Biden. He wasn't afraid to compromise the integrity of the presidency and vice presidency by involving Joe Biden in shady business deals with our foreign adversaries. But Hunter Biden, you were too afraid to show up for a deposition, and you still can't today. I believe that Hunter Biden should be held completely in contempt. I think he should be hauled off to jail right now, because it wasn't long ago, too, my friends on the other side of the aisle, that you also believed in the power of a congressional subpoena. Not long ago at all. You believed in holding those who refused to comply with a congressional subpoena accountable. And I stood with each and every one of you. I am the only member in this room today who has held a member of my own party in contempt of Congress for not showing up for a subpoena. And I see nothing but complete hypocrisy on the other side of the aisle. The ranking member of this committee even so eloquently put it, the lesson is, please tell your children out there in America, if you get a subpoena to go before Congress, go. You have a legal responsibility to do so. So the hypocrisy is stunning. What are we to tell our children today? There's nothing the other side can say with a straight face. As the only member of this committee to vote to hold a member of contempt of my own party, let me be clear, this should not be a partisan issue. If Congress issues a subpoena, you show up, period.
Well, I don't think it could possibly be said much better than that. As far as wherever this is going to go, it remains to be seen. Now, Renee, you had come out and said that you have information that they're only doing this is all a big show because they're trying to make some documentary. How could they possibly have orchestrated all of this for that?
With other members of Congress. She even said this at the beginning of the show. Even Nancy Mace said, who took part in this? Other members of Congress she was addressing. Jamie Raskin was there. You know what? Sorry to talk this way. Biggest piece of shit going. Okay? He's part of the package, too. All right? This was all orchestrated today. Huh?
You don't have to apologize for that.
This was all orchestrated today for the benefit of the documentary. It included members of Congress who knew he was showing up. And I was told this afternoon, no uncertain terms, Joe Biden knew about it, and he gave it his blessings. You just don't show up there with two attorneys, one sitting on each side, you know.
While the left hand is doing this, what is the right hand doing?
Yeah.
We need to be looking for these things.
Yeah.
Again, another issue of situational awareness. We need to consider these things. In the last aspect, we've got about 10 more minutes left. Unfortunately, I'd love to be able to stay longer, but I want to find out what your best advice is, because we have to, of course, be on our toes. We have to expect something. Where is your best guess that we are going to receive strikes?
Of course, they do it for cause and effect, large metropolitan areas, but New York City, perhaps, Boston, but you can't discount the fact that it could happen right here in little old Epping. You know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Something tells me that even though they want to give the biggest bang for their buck or whatever else, they want to take and hit somewhere in the heartland just to be able to turn around and say, so people would say, nowhere is safe.
No, nowhere is safe. And as Blazeman so eloquently pointed out, excuse me, look what happened this morning. New York City migrant schools, they took them out of where they were. They closed the schools. The students had to do remote learning so they could house these migrants in the schools. And now the parents are saying, we're not going to let our kids back because it's the hygiene there is deplorable. I mean,
exactly. We've actually got some video about that.
They're winning.
Blaven, can we bring that up? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Your tax dollars at work. All of these migrant people being brought into these sanctuary city situations. They took an entire school that are supposedly educating children your tax dollars are paying for their children to be going to that school to receive an education, and instead they've turned it into a migrant hotel.
Every time something like this happens, they win a little bit and we lose a whole lot in tax dollars and rights.
And what's going to happen with this? How long is it going to take for these people to get these people vacated out of there, get the place cleaned up? Because you can't go from something housing a bunch of people into a rooming house into bringing children back in that environment. God only knows how many of those people may have whatever kind of a sickness, disease, whatever they brought in that's contaminated that building.
Well, get used to it. It's the new way of life. Look what's happening in Ecuador. And, Newsom's going to be installed in 2025. That's going to be our life going forward.
By the way, it's a good thing you mentioned Ecuador. Look at what's coming back. Oh, we're not just seeing people from Mexico coming up over the southern border. We're not seeing people only from Brazil or whatever else. We're seeing people that are coming from all over the place, including the Middle East and Ecuador.
Yeah. And Ecuador's in chaos right now.
Oh, chaos would be an improvement.
As of yesterday, Ecuador is in chaos. They're telling non-citizens to get to their embassies to get out.
Yeah. Ecuador is a mess. I'm surprised they haven't taken and shipped people out to the damn Galapagos Islands.
Well, I hate to say it, but the United States is a mess too.
Yeah, well, yeah. And they're making only a bigger mess.
Yeah.
And by the way, my guess, where is our non-existent Vice President Kamala Harris?
Her plane had to make an emergency landing today because of a wind shear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure if she had gas or what, but I was told the plane had to make an emergency landing. Where? I don't know.
we do have another video to bring up, and I want to reach out and say thank you very much, Mr. Blazeman. You're on top of these things, and you are a godsend to us. Roll that. Go ahead and roll that footage, please. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this.
Nearly 8 months since Midtown's Roosevelt Hotel, which had closed in 2020, was reopened by the city as an asylum seeker arrival center. Since then, thousands of migrants have passed through the doors. Recently, I got a chance to go inside the facility, a very rare chance. And then I sat down with Mayor Adams and other officials about how the city is grappling with this unprecedented crisis.
Welcome to the New York City Arrival Center. All asylum seekers coming into New York City each day will come through that same doorway there.
And how many people have you processed so far since it began in 2021?
At the New York City Arrival Center here, we've registered more than 70,000 asylum seekers since we opened this site in May of this past year.
It doesn't seem that busy today. Is this what it normally looks like, or do you usually have a lot more people sitting in that waiting room?
Yeah, the arrival center gets busier as the day goes on.
The Roosevelt Hotel has become a symbol, and depending on who you talk to, it's debatable whether it's a hopeful symbol. Outside, mopeds and motorcycles line the sidewalk, the unspoken side hustle of working food deliveries while awaiting shelter. Dr. Ted Long is helping with the processing of migrants, and he gave me a rare tour inside the hotel. So how often, when you give these migrants a choice to go to somewhere else, do they take you up on that offer?
1 out of every 4 that enters that front door will leave within 24 hours because with our help, we've enabled them to complete their journey, whether that's finding and staying with friends and family in New York City or finding and staying with friends and family in another city across the country. Will help them to get there. So this is our cafeteria. We had this initial issue of how do we create a meal that would be what somebody would want if you're coming from Venezuela, Senegal, or the Ukraine?
That's what we've heard. Sometimes they don't like the food that you're serving because they're not accustomed to it.
Exactly. So we did a survey of everybody. Everybody disliked the same meal, and the most popular meal.
Which was that? What's the least
What would you
liked?
think?
The least liked and the most liked.
Are you guys listening to this
Roast
shit?
beef. Nobody likes roast beef.
I
And
mean,
most
you
liked
can
genre of
talk
food?
during the video. I'm
Italian
sorry.
food. Very good.
This is why sometimes
We win.
I love doing
Manuel
Mr. B
Castro,
show,
the commissioner of the city's.
and I don't love him doing Mr. B show because I sit back here and I get fucking so pissed off.
I understand this. I understand it, but I mean, we're playing caterer. We're not only hosting these people and welcoming things with open arms and giving them a place, 3 hots and a cot and whatever else, and everything else, and they're complaining about it.
I'm so fucking sorry you didn't care for the cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Let me, get a chef in here to make some enchiladas and fucking shit for you. Okay, I got to get out of here.
But you know what? It's a proven fact that it takes on the average, with the number of people we got, it's going to take on the average of 7 years for one of these people to see a judge to decide on whether or not.
Yeah, easy. There's not enough judges.
And in the meantime, they're going to be floating around wherever the hell, hither and yon they go, and doing what?
But they're not here because they need protection. They're illegal border crossers. They're here to get the jobs, to get the free benefits and everything else. They're not here looking for protection.
It's the new American dream. Go to America and go on the dole.
The bottom line here is these blue states, especially New York, they don't know what to do with these people. You know why? Because they are all so used to saying, fuck it, it's Texas's problem.
Yeah.
It's fucking Arizona's problem. It's their problem.
But
Okay?
hey, I guess Governor Abbott showed them a thing or two, though, huh?
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. That's why they're freaking out now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And these people are such advocates, for the migrants coming in, but not in my city. Okay? You know why? That's how freaking Democrats are, man. Okay? They're the most tricky okay, people, and it pisses me off because us conservatives, we don't say nothing, okay? Because we're sitting there and we're like, you know what? I got to get up. I got to put the boots on. I got to go to fucking work. You know, I got to pay the mortgage. I got to do this. I don't have time for this, you know? But yeah, you do, because this is why shows like this are happening.
This is the most shining example of what we're talking about here is Nantucket Island. Oh yes, we're a sanctuary state, this and that, whatever else. But oh no, not here.
Well, that was Martha's Vineyard.
What? Not same thing.
Well, Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. I don't know about being the same
DA
place.
from Martha's Vineyard wanted to charge Governor Abbott criminally.
Yeah, he wanted to try to arrest him for it.
Yeah.
But they were gone in less than a day.
Yeah.
They were gone.
They were gone in the New York Minute. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. They were gone.
It's
So-
great. You're going to be sanctuary this and that, but oh, what? Not in my neighborhood.
Right. Exactly. Let's finish a little bit more. Hey, do you mind if I hang around?
Please, by all means. It's a family affair here.
Hey, Mr. B, the next time you go to the store, check out the parking ride. Let me know what you think.
Oh,
Immigrant Affairs
They're
is
camping
trying
out
to
there.
acclimate the migrants, but at the same time, he's frustrated too.
Do you see it getting any quieter?
Mr. Mayor.
Are people dissipating? Are they still coming to our city?
Look, we've said this time and time again, this is not sustainable. We had to do this because it's an
I'm sorry,
emergency.
he's a commissioner of New
A
York
lot of people
Municipal.
are coming in that have no idea what's going on. They were just giving a bus ticket to come here or a plane ticket to come here, and then they don't know where else to go.
You talk about...
Okay, so they got nowhere else to go, right? Where do you think that their mindset is when they cross the border? I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. You know?
I can tell them where to go. Turn your ass around.
Yeah,
and
turn
go where
around.
you came from.
Right, turn around
Their
and come in
mindset
here
is,
properly.
as soon as I get across the border, I'm all set. And by
My
the way,
thing is-
if I happen to be pregnant and I have a child and I give birth to that child across the border, I'm taken care of for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So these cartels, you know, watching the news, all of that stuff like we are, you know, and they're telling them, you know, when they give them their $1,000 so they can help them get shipped over or whatever, you know, and they, okay, tell them, oh, look, you know, if you tell them that, you know, you got family over here and all that stuff like that, or you got a cousin 16th down the road or whatever, you know what I mean? Not like a first or second cousin, you know. Juan's best friend lives in the United States. Anyways, my point I'm trying to make is now they're showing up with like pieces of paper. Oh, here's my cousins live here, my cousins live there. And they're like, okay, go there, here's your paperwork, come to court, you know, at this time so we can get the process going. And then they never show up.
I think the latest estimates, the cartels are making $50 to $70 million a month smuggling these people across the border.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy number. It's a crazy number. And I encourage our viewers to go ahead and look that stuff up.
Who needs to deal drugs when you got human flesh you can peddle?
I'm so sorry, man.
Unbelievable.
It's just an automatic thing for me.
Unbelievable.
That's what human trafficking is all about.
It's
Well, let's listen to some more, B.
Well, no, actually, we're a little bit over time, and it's time for me to get myself going because I gotta take care of this as well. But it has been quite an experience here, and I want to thank both of you very, very much for your time and for your insight and for your assistance. Renee, you've got a great show that's coming up again on Sunday.
Yeah.
Was it 10 o'clock it airs, I believe?
10 o'clock, yeah.
10 o'clock Eastern, and your compadres now. I hope, because there had been someone had
We're doing
ill. They're getting better now, I hope.
We're doing EMPs in 2024.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. I certainly hope things get better along the line and things keep going. Remember, we've got this call-in show. Remember to remind that on Thursday night, we have another young lady. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of the show. But the young lady has
My voice is my power.
My voice is my power. Thank you very much. She has a very dynamic program as well. It's going very well, and I certainly hope people decide to start using the call-in thing, ask their questions, give us their feedback. Renee,
Really?
good luck to you. We will
Really
see you.
quick, I'd like to plug Mr. B, POLI-TICKING with Mr. B. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. Blaze Man, thank you for everything you do. I-12, GIA, and POMT. Look forward to Sunday. We provide training to keep you safe. Mr. B, anytime you want, hit me up. You know how to get in touch with me.
Absolutely.
I'll show you anything you want. I'll show you how to survive.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Renee. You have a great night. POLI-TICKING with Mr. B, we have had a great show. I thank you very much for watching. Keep the faith and love America. We'll see you all again soon, everybody. Take care.